After Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction of his wife and younger son less than a year ago, a new ruling tonight, he will not face another trial, though the judge taking issue with the clerk of court's behavior and comments.
I find that the clerk of court is not completely credible as a witness. Ms. Hill was attracted by the siren call of celebrity. Did clerk of court Hill's comments have any impact on the verdict of the jury? I find that the answer to this question is no.
This was not going to be the final say-so on the law. That's going to be determined by the appellate courts.
The decision coming amidst this split screen of clerk of court Becky Hill a year ago swearing in Murdaugh and now defending whether she interfered with justice, and this testimony from a juror known as Juror Z.
Was your verdict influenced in any way by the communications of the clerk of court in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was it influenced?
To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty.
All right. And I understand that. That's the tenor of the remarks she made. Did that affect your finding of guilty in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror Z previously writing in an affidavit that Hill told the jury not to be fooled by the defense's case, but that she felt pressure from others on the jury to vote guilty, never mentioning Hill. Of the 11 other jurors, a second recalled Hill saying something before Murdaugh's testimony.
She made a comment about watch his body language.
But all 11 said their decision was not impacted by any communication from Hill, a point highlighted by the state in closing arguments.
Evidence here is overwhelming, I would say, from the people that matter, and that's those jurors.
Still, some seemingly damning evidence came up about Hill, whose fundamental role is to handle backroom duties, jury logistics, and trial exhibits. Hill testified that she never spoke about Murdaugh with any of the jurors and denied all claims made by the defense.
At any time, did you tell the jury not to be fooled by evidence presented by Mr. Murdaugh's attorneys?
I did not.
And a friend and fellow clerk of court who was asked about Hill's potential book and future sales and whether it was ever broached before trial.
She said we might want to write a book because she needed a lake house and I needed to retire. And then further conversations, a guilty verdict would sell more books.
In the end, the judge's decision came down to actual proven prejudice as this layered legal battle continues to take new turns.
All right, Sam, after this verdict, what's next for Alex Murdaugh?
Yeah, Tom, Murdaugh's attorneys made it clear they plan on appealing this decision to the state of South Carolina, but they say that they feel vindicated that the facts bear out that Becky Hill did try to influence the outcome. Tom?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.